hello again, Bill Jackson. You're the curator and archivist of the Harley Davidson Museum. You've been around 25 years at this post. Congratulations, by the way. We met this summer, and here we are again. So, what can you tell us a bit about the Harley Davidson Museum and what's it all about and its storytelling?
Yeah, so for those who are able to make it here, the Harley Davidson Museum really tells the story of not only the history of the company and the products, it's interwoven with the stories of people. We have found, especially since this museum opened in 2008, that what really resonates is the stories of the people. Said one of the more compelling aspects of our history is from 1903, when Harley Davidson started, to the present, there's been, we estimate, over 170 different motorcycle manufacturers just in the United States. That's not even inclusive of Europe and Asia. But Harley is still here, and there's specific reasons for that. And I hope people come away with the why Harley has survived, because sometimes it was things outside of our control that helped carry us through. Things like dealerships, things like the rider loyalty, which can never be underestimated.
Could you tell us a bit about the riders' loyalty and maybe also the dealers' loyalty?
Well, something you see from really the very beginning is the dealer as a rider and enthusiast. Something that we kind of unearthed from our archives many years ago was a story of our very first dealer who joined Harley Davidson in 1904 in Chicago. Organizing a ride of his customers. It was a weekend ride around the city of Chicago, and he was there with them. And this was so early, and this was 1908. There wasn't even Harley Davidson apparel at this point, so everybody's just wearing, their suits and their bowler hats and derbies, neckties, which is interesting to me, that people wearing neckties in those days to motorcycle. But that's one of the cornerstones of why Harley Davidson is still here. The dealers keeping the riders riding is one of the things that, if that had not happened, I would have little doubt Harley would not have even survived the 1920s, much less some of the other periods.
I remember you said that you spoke with one of those dealers, the really loyal dealers, and the dealer said, "I don't sell Harley Davidson, I am Harley Davidson." Yeah. And that really stuck with me. Well, I remember when I walked through the museum, and you had this all with the small pictures, and then you had small videos, and they kind of lit up, and you can hear people talking, and that was a big impression on me, really. That's a beautiful idea. And then there was this motorcycle with all names painted on the motorcycle. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so that's a 2003 motorcycle with sidecar. And it was one of our executives came up with the idea that we would take some parts off the motorcycle and send them to the different Harley Davidson facilities around the world in 2003. And that every employee working for Harley at that time would have autographed that motorcycle. So it's in a glass case here in the museum. I could send you a photo. You probably already have a photograph of it.
So talking about time, a brand can become nostalgic, right? Kind of stuck in the past. But what about past, present, and future? How do you manage that? How do you live in 3 time zones, so to speak?
Well, so one of the things we are very adamant about is collecting the current day history of the company, so to speak. One very fortunate thing that the company wants this museum doing is telling stories of current day product development. Because people are just endlessly fascinated by how does a motorcycle go from a concept sketch or a drawing all the way to the dealer showroom floor. Right. But part of that is being that strategic information center for the company. And our current CEO has been very adamant that we we are a forward-looking company. You know, our motorcycles might bear styling elements of the past, but they're very modern.
When I was walking through the museum, I saw the small Harley Davidson scooters, the golf cart. Those were part of the AMF era, but they are there, and it gives a nice perspective on the development, and you don't kind of veer away from things that were less successful, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's, you know, and that part of the museum does include products that were very short-lived. It's not even necessarily to say that they were bad. It's just wasn't the right time. That gallery that you're talking about covers some of, you know, with this influx of products from Europe, because after World War II, all of a sudden Harley had to face all this competition from manufacturers outside the US. The quality issues of the 1970s are there. There's one of our dealers on a video saying there was a period we were apologizing. The dealers were apologizing to customers. And he said that it was wonderful when that ended and we weren't having to apologize anymore because quality had been brought.
I think that brings us to maybe to the concept of authenticity. What does that mean, authenticity, in your work and in the Harley Davidson Museum?
I feel it means honesty and transparency. If you know a biker, if you know a Harley Davidson motorcyclist, you might as well be honest and transparent with these people, because if you try to basically sell them something that's not true, they're going to know. We
spoke about, you know, we have heritage brands, what kind of the value proposition, and the position is all about heritage, and then we have brands with the heritage. So Harley Davidson, where would you place Harley Davidson on that kind of scale?
We are definitely a brand with heritage. I know that some of our most enthusiastic customers have said Harley's heritage is the reason I ride with Harley Davidson. Perhaps they had a parent or a grandparent. That can be the case with dealerships. There's some dealerships that are, you're looking at a second or third generation. But again, I think it's when people look at our vintage products and our current products and how they relate to each other so strongly, and you see other products like that, but yeah, there's a reason for that. And you'll hear this from our stylists and our engineers quite regularly, that there's things we can't mess with too much when we come out with a new bike. There's things people expect from us.
I think you're right. I mean, there are design elements, and that was very, very clear in the museum. You could see things, the cylinders, the seat, there are the lamp, and there are a lot of tails and everything, how they change, but not radically. You can actually see there is some lineage in the design. I think that's beautiful. And what about when you're riding your motorcycle? What does that bring to you beyond the fact that you're going somewhere? What does it bring to you personally?
It's therapeutic. And, you know, not being a doctor or a psychologist, I can't even begin to tell you why, but after a ride, I feel much more relaxed. My head feels more clear. I've read a few things over the years, you know, it's the motion that helps. That's probably it. The fresh air, the sunshine, obviously sunshine is good for us. But I like to just get lost and aimlessly and not have a destination, so to speak.
No, it's true. I mean, I heard one of my friends who is a true Harley enthusiast. He said, "You haven't found your way until you got lost."
That's great. He should copyright that.
Yeah, he should. I will forward that to him. Well, I think that this has been a very nice conversation, and thank you very much for your time.